It's my life, it's now or never. I ain't gonna live forever. I just wanna live now.
Welcome back to the 5, little Bon Jovi for you. This next story, I think, is going to infuriate a lot of you. After the threat of being sued, the Bell County School District in Kentucky has ended its tradition of having a prayer right before the start of high school football games. The complaints came from a group called the Freedom From Religion Foundation, saying these prayers were an unconstitutional endorsement of religion. By the way, this is the same group that sued Texas Governor Rick Perry to try to get him to stop that prayer event that he did a couple of weeks ago. Andrea, I mean, this is so outrageous to me because I think, you know, your rights stop where mine begin. So to have this kind of ruling come down and prevent believers from praying before a big game is a violation, I think, a trampling of the believers' rights.
Right, exactly. But don't expect the ACLU to come out and defend that anytime soon. Look, this was actually school district policy that the students voted on the prayer that they wanted. I mean, really, this was driven by the students, and the students should be allowed to vote on what they want. That's their rights. But look, I don't understand why they cannot just let the students pray if they'd like, do the moment of silence. And if you don't want to pray, you don't have to. They're not forcing it or mandating it. But what's wrong with a little prayer?
The school district is actually saying, okay, since this ruling came down, or we don't even want to deal with the threat of this lawsuit, we're going to replace the prayer, which was an overt prayer, Bob, with a moment of silence. So they're going to try to cover all bases. But, I mean, don't you find this a little extreme?
You know, when I played a lot of football, and we had prayers before every game, and I didn't believe then. I believe now. And I have a change of heart. When I first saw this story, I thought we were talking about the school. I don't believe you ought to have a prayer at the beginning of a school day. I think you ought to have a moment of silence. I think that's fine. And an athletic event where it is different than a school day. And I've changed my mind about this. I think it's fine if they want to go ahead and do it. The students, I didn't know that they voted on it. It makes some sense. Now, I don't say that just because I happen to now have faith. I mean, I think it is a reasonable thing. And if you don't like it, you can not listen to it.
Well, they play Bon Jovi at these sporting events. I may not like that.
And you believe he is God. So there you go.
Well, couple of thoughts. Number one, this is a Wisconsin-based group, so what are they doing in Kentucky? Number two, they're the ones who sued Rick Perry over his day of prayer. And number three, they call it an unconstitutional government endorsement of religion. If you pray together before a football game so no one gets hurt and you have a great game, this is absolutely PC gone way over the top.
Here's a very important distinction. If you do it in school, kids are forced to go to school. You've got to go to school. You don't have to go to a football game.
Absolutely.
You know, and you don't have to go to the school play. And frankly, I was in both. And nobody
school
prayed
play?
You were in the school play?
I was in school. I was in school.
What were you?
I can't remember, but I was in it.
You don't remember which play?
No, I can't remember that either.
So you were a thespian?
Well, no, my brother's a thespian. I was a football player, but it went over, you know. I'm on TV
so
now.
Greg, now that we've finished talking about Bob's other career, so what do you make of this? This public school, the Supreme Court has ruled back in 2000 that actually this can hold true. You can't sort of have a public school mandate prayer.
Well, I can't. I'm struggling with this because in a way, praying is like spiritual steroids. You know, it's like, is it fair to the people who aren't praying because they could lose the game? Here's the thing: if you're an atheist and you want people to become atheists, this is not the way to do it. This is not a way to convince people to your side because you end up looking like a jerk. Like, I don't really get certain Americans' obsession with pets, but making fun of their pets doesn't make your side any more convincing. You got to respect it and say, like, you know what? I'm not part of this. I don't really get it. Enjoy yourself. But when you come off as strident, you lose people who might be open to your point of view.
Prayer is a positive force, okay? We're not talking about, you know, protected speech of skinheads or something like that.
It's really hiding behind the legal process. It's not even that they sued. The threat of suing is what caused the school
intimidation
to say, hey,
of it.
And the school reacted so quick.
But
which means it's a win for
react
this
quickly
group.
because, as you pointed out, the Supreme Court ruling. I mean, this is probably one they would lose.
Okay, guys, got to leave it there. Coming up, yesterday's quake rocked the East Coast, but did we miss a warning call from the Wilds? Also known as Bob. Stay with us. The 5 continues.
In every state, there's a station playing Cash, Hank, Willie, and Wayne. For a cause and